He steps in against Marcus Stroman. And his first fastball is up and away for ball one, and we're underway. VR in on the grass at third against the threat of the bunt. And Tapia takes a fastball away, and it's 2-0. Stroman short of bullpen. They wound up winning that game in 12 innings in a memorable contest. A start for Stroman. So he's had an extra day of rest with the rain out last night. And his slider is fouled away, and it's 2-1 out. I don't think he wants to go through that again. Tapia grounds one down to first, and James McCann has become a regular at that before he comes back, but he is probably the next man up, and so then McCann can go back to being a catcher. And quickly 0 team. 1-2 now to McMahon. Story on deck. That's poked the other way, and McMahon's got a base hit. So he got a change up on 1 and 2 and just went with it. And so the Rockies have the first base runner of the game.
You know, it's interesting. When we first saw him in Colorado, most of his numbers are.
So now Story is 1 for 8 in the series, and Stroman runs a sinker inside for ball one. Field for the first time. And Story drills one, just foul. Story's the one guy in the lineup with Story. And the slider bends in for a strike, and it's 1-2. Because you think of a high breaking ball as being a hittable pitch. Is it still a hittable pitch with hitters' swings so? And Story has to spin. 3-2. Charlie Blackmon hitting clean before the game, doing some running. There goes McMahon, swing and a miss. The throw by Nito can't be handled by Peraza. And safe at second base is McMahon.
I would say, Gary, as we've seen these games.
I mean, and that's a hard adjustment, I think, for people, especially. Blackmon got a piece of the slider, and it's still 0-2. And Blackmon grounds one slowly down to McCann. He gets 2 easy plays in the inning and gets Stroman through the top of the first. Man's doing a land office business. Joshua Fuentes leads off, and I'm calling him Joshua. Change to his given name. He was asked if he was superstitious. He said no, but I'm a little still.
So, Mike, did you think the defense? He's like, it's Michael.
3 pitches, and Brendan Rodgers would be sighing more. By the way, it did not. 2 games. Gary and Ron. Just saying. I mean,
I'm like, well, I don't know what makes sense for you. He said, well, I got a 10 o'clock appointment with. It's great for me. Next thing I knew, I'm working both.
And he's not working either.
Yes.
Well, he's here in spirit and in 17. That's ball 4 to Brendan Rodgers. Sampson at the plate. And Stroman busts him inside ball. Billy McKinney to take his spot. Stroman just missing with that one, so 7. Well, there's no question that pitching has been fantastic for the Mets this year. Statcast powered by Google Cloud. And Stroman gets a charitable strike. Ari. Toward the middle, Lindor with a great diving stop, and they get the out at second. Oh! Replace them, and even the guys who replaced them. It's Dom Nunez taking outside for ball 1.
When you're playing,
it's already been thrown out in this series. And that one just. Into the shift. Stroman covering, and Peraza throws him out.
Are we saying thank you? I don't see any thank yous.
German Marquez, one of the best hitting pitchers in the game. A Silver Slugger winner, lifetime .224 hitter. And he lines one to short, caught by Lindor. So Marquez.
Now, Gesellman struggled mightily with that. Hitters hit .333 against the changeup last year, so he scrapped it. He's back to a circle change this year, but Stroman perfected it, and it's.
I think guys, when I think of pitching and grips by pitchers, I always think that some guys have outside part of the baseball. I was more comfortable on the inside part, so it'll come off different.
So Al threw cutters and you threw sinkers.
Exactly.
That's how that works.
It all ended up in the same place.
Well, I did see an interview that Marcus Stroman did with pitching on the inside and felt that ball had too much run. This new changeup grip, he just moved his finger to the outside, and the ball started to dip.
The can goes a long way. Stroman trying to get to the bag, but couldn't get his foot down in time. So far today, a single into left field in the first. And he takes the backdoor cutter for a strike. Was off early.
Well, we saw the other night after the home run in his first at bat.
Stroman throws a fastball by in a 4-game span. McMahon breaks his bat and pops one up into shallow left. And Brandon Drury under it. 1-2-3 inning for Stroman, helped out by Story. Leads off in the 4th inning of a 7-inning game. Mets with a 1-0 lead. Story hits one into the shift right at Lindor. 1 pitch and 1 out for Stroman. Here's that last ground ball from Story.
To secure the baseball.
That's why they tell you catch it with that base's first trip. Launches one in the air to center, and Maben has plenty of room. 2 out. Because, you know, every little league team when we were kids had the one kid out in right field who was picking. There's a lot more distractions in the world today, Ronnie.
Well, you know, it's
Joshua Fuentes, who struck out his first time up, and takes the slider down from Stroman. 2-1. To become Bobby Kelly when he went in a slump, and then later on, because he went in another slump, he decided to go back. I don't see him as a Charles. Ball 4-4. Here's Brendan Rodgers, who drew Stroman's first walk, and that gets away from Nito, and down to second base goes Fuentes on the wild pitch. Inside to Rodgers. Rodgers missed the Brendan Rodgers. And that catches the corner, and it's 2-1. Hockey shortstop of the future. Well, the future may be really soon.
Yeah.
I mean, it would shock every. And Rodgers fouls one off Nito, who had no idea which direction it went after it hit him. As with the springs, seems to be the safest one, and the one that most of the catchers have now gone to. And Stroman having trouble putting the brakes on this inning after retiring. 3-2 coming. Rolled over down to third. VR handles it. And the throw is true to retire the side.
Because I don't know, it really felt as though I'm with you. I'm going to work. You know, I know it's
out and made a spectacular stop, and then a glove flip to get a 4 as Hampson lays down a bunt. Stroman off the mound like a cat, and he throws him out. Stroman not only
like that at all. I just took it like, okay, beautiful. It's an out for me. It's an easy out, you know, unless, you know, certainly
that play. And he grounds this one to the right side into the shift, and there's Lindor to throw him out. So 2 more ground ball outs to start this 5th inning for Stroman, who's really settled into a nice groove. And this is one of those games, right? He was not sharp.
It's more subtle, and he's gotten a lot of balls from here in the booth. We can hear they're off the end of the bat.
Meanwhile, German Marquez has hit some of the best.
In 2019, we had 11 RBI.
And he lines this one into left for a base hit. Just the second hit of the day for the Rockies. And Marquez could flat out hit. Grounded out to first base. Now 0 for 10 in this series, and he slices one foul. And behind him at first, even though he represents the tying run. And that slider in the dirt, and it's 1-1 to Tapia.
You know, we're kids, but he's a guy that I always thought would be able to be a coach or manager on the big league level.
Peraza runs it down, spins around, throws out Tapia, side retired. That is
slow start offensively.
So here's McMahon, who's been the most dangerous guy in the lineup for the Rockies in this series, and really the Story and Blackman 2, 3, and 4 in the order against Stroman. And Marcus misses high, a ball and a strike. This one. And he misses with the changeup, and it's 2-1. And sliders fouled off the left side, 2-2.
Again, we showed him to throw a back foot slider.
And he goes to the changeup to strike out McMahon.
That's the first time in a while that we've seen this.
There's a good slider to get ahead on Story. 0-2. Off the corner. 1-2. 1-2 to Story. Fly ball, shallow center. Maben got a late start in. Coming on, and it drops. Story takes a turn at first and holds. Maben's first step was back, and that wound up costing him as it fell just a step in front of him. Series. And Blackman fouls one at the plate, 0-1. Story was picked off by David Peterson in. And Blackman takes the change up low, and it's 1-1. Two and one. And now he's behind on Blackman, 3-1. Josh. And Blackman hits it out to center. This one hangs up for Maben. 2 out. Big out for Stroman. Pitch his last time up. And he's late on that cutter. 0-1. Field. They've already been shut out 7 times on the road this year. Good slider by Stroman to get ahead on Fuentes. Just got a piece. One might have caught. Again, the 0-2. Just off the corner with the slider. 1-2 to Fuentes. Tough pitch to lay off.
Good sequence.
See if he wants to go back. No, going to set up outside again. Story runs, and Fuentes lifts one down the right field line. Coming over is McKinney, and he makes the play to retire the.